Hello friends, this video is the continuity of the previous video in which we were discussing about control structures in Python language. In that video, we have discussed about control structures, why are required in programming language. Then we were discussing about types of the control structures, and even in types, we have discussed the first type of control structures in that video, that is sequential, in which the control flows from top to bottom. Now in today's lecture we are going to discuss second type of the control structures, that is conditional control structures, which are further divided into four types, that is simple if else, if elif else and nested if. We'll discuss each of them in detail, so let's get started. So before talking about conditional statements in computer language, let's take an example of conditional statement or conditional sentence in our day-to-day life. Sometimes we used to say like that, if tomorrow weather will be clear, we will be go out for picnic. That means in this sentence what we have said that if weather is clear, that means criteria is what, that weather should be clear, then we'll go for picnic. That means in normal life, in day-to-day life, we use these types of sentences where we do some decision, we take some decision based on some criteria. Or suppose I can even say like this, that I'll wear raincoat if it will rain. That means wearing raincoat is dependent on what? It is dependent on rain. If it will rain, then I'll wear raincoat. So these type of two sentences that you use in your common life, what they do, they tell us about what might happen under certain conditions. Or even you can take example of video games. In video games, what does it do? Even video games uses conditional statements to determine if user want to move left or right. What you do in video games? If you will press left button, it will go to the left side. If you will press right arrow, it will go to the right direction, or likewise top or bottom. That means even in video games you have seen this concept that control is moved, or control is moving according to your click, according to your input. If you press left, it will go to the left. If it is right, it will go to the right. Or another example, I'll give you the example of MS Office. Suppose you try to directly close the MS Word, what will the message comes? It comes whether you want to save the file or quit. That even MS Word is also using the concept of control structures, control statements, that if you press save, it will go to the save button, or if you press quit, it will go to the quit. That means this thing is clear to you that almost everywhere you are using control statements. Now we will discuss how these control or conditional statements are helpful in programming, or how you use them in the programming language. So it is clear that conditional in computer science, conditional programming is what? Conditional statements are what? They help us in the programming language to handle decisions. Conditional statements allow us to take decision and to work based on the decision. Without conditional statements, it's not possible to change the flow of the program. So you can say that without the ability to take decisions, program could run only from one end to the another, or it may be run in an infinite loop without any way to terminate. So conditional statements allow us to take decision, to work based on our decisions. So this is clear to you, the concept what is conditional statement. So in computer programming languages, conditional statements help us to take decisions. Specifically, conditionals perform different computations or actions. What you do when you give some criteria, when you give some condition, it evaluates that condition. If that condition is true, it will execute one part of the program. If the condition is false, it will do the second part. That means conditional perform different computations or action depending on whether a programmer defined boolean is true or false. So now next question is, why conditional statements are important? Why these conditional statements are important in programming language? This is the main concept. Conditional statements or commands, what they do, they help us to take decision, or you can say for handling decisions. Decision making statements in programming languages decide the direction of the flow of the program. That means in order normal, what is happening, your control is your flow of control is moving from top to bottom, and if you want to change it, that can be done with the help of decision statement. So power of programming is increased with the help of your conditional statements. And secondly, they have the ability to test a variable against a variable and act in one way if the condition is met by the variable, or another way if it is not. In this example where I have taken if age greater than 18, then print eligible for voting, else print not eligible. That means variable is what? In this case, age is a variable, what? 18. That means it's testing your variable against what? Against a value 18. That is, if age is greater than 18, it will print this part. Alright, that means one part is executing, and if it is not, then the another part, that is after else, is executing. So next is importance is that conditional allow us to control what the program does and perform different actions based on these conditions. That is clear to you. In the previous diagram I have explained you, if age is greater than 18, it will do one part. If it is less than 18, it will do the else part. So conditional structure perform computation or actions based on the result of the Boolean condition. That is what, according to your Boolean expression, if it is true, it will do this part. If false, it will do this part. What makes computer programs great? What is the main benefit of this is that you can interact with the program. To interact with the program, it is possible only with the help of conditional statements, because they can help you to direct the flow. Otherwise, default criteria was what? Default flow of control was top to bottom or linear. In this case, programs interact with the user. This is only possible with the help of conditions that direct this type of interaction. So that means conditional statements help us to interact with the programs. So next is your type of conditional statements. Conditional statements or decision making statement is divided further into four parts, that is simple if else, if else if, and nested if. So first we will discuss the first statement, that is your if statement. So your if statement is the most simple decision making statement. This statement is used to decide whether a certain statement or block of statement will be executed or not, only in case your condition is true. Otherwise, the loop will, or the execution won't take place. That means it is used to decide whether a certain statement or block of statement will be executed or not. That is, if a certain condition is true, then a block of statement is executed, otherwise not. So the if statement is a decision making statement that guides a program to make decisions based on specified criteria. Suppose I give if age greater than 18, print you are eligible for voting. I am not giving the else part or anything else. That means it will just check if age greater than 18, it will execute that part. If it is not greater than 18, it won't execute. So the sequence of statements is executed only if the expression is true. That means it will work only, statements will execute only if your criteria is true. If criteria is true, then one set of codes is executed, otherwise not. So let's understand the syntax of this. This is your if, then you will give your test expression, then colons, and then you can give single statement or you can give number of statements. So I have explained this with the help of a flowchart. In this test expression, and what it will do, if your condition is false, it will come out of the if condition. If it will come out of the if condition, it will work only if condition is true. If condition will be true, then it will come to the body of it. I will explain this with the help of an example, the program. In this case, we are printing if the number is positive, we will print a message. That means what we'll give? We will give a number. Number, we are inputting a number, that means int input enter the number. When you will give number, it will check. If number will be greater than 0, then it will print number is positive. And if it is not greater than 0, it won't type anything, it won't print anything. How it will work, we will see with the help of our program part. So let's go to the Python shell. I have already stored the program, so just I am going to open it to explain you the concept. So same I have explained you in the PowerPoint slide. This is I have typed here. In this I have inputted number, Then we'll check. I've again added a line here that is print by. Why I have printed it? Just to explain this, that this is not the part of if, and if condition is if true, then print number is positive printed and even by will be printed, and if condition is false, then only print by will be executed, because this statement is the normal statement, that is not the part of your if. So let's run this program. Suppose I'll give number 5. 5 is positive number and then it is giving printing by. Next, suppose I'll give, again I'll run. Now I'll give number, suppose -5. What part is printed? By, which is not the part of if statement. Okay, so this is clear to you that if, in this case, if statement is the simple state decision making and it will work only if condition is true. In this case, if I want to add 2-3 lines of statements, I can do like this: print, suppose, body of if. Alright, save it, and then now I'll print 4. And what it is printing? First line is positive, 4 is positive number, and body of if, and then by. That means you can add single statement. When I've typed only print number is positive, statement is single, and now this print and this print is the part of your if, but this print is not the part of this, because indentation shows that this is block of if statement. So this if statement is clear to you. What is the problem with this statement? That it is working only if condition is true. If it is false, it is not working. So to overcome this type of problem, we have the second part, that is if then else statement. So let's discuss that part first, theoretical, then we'll come again to the practical part. So what the problem we were facing with the simple if was that it was working only if the condition was true, else it was not executing the statement. So in some cases we may have the example, like suppose I say if it will clear or it will be sunny day, I'll go for picnic, else I'll go for shopping. That means what I am trying to say is that I am dependent on the weather, but still I am saying that if it will rain, I'll go for shopping. If it will not rain, I'll go for the picnic. That means in both the condition I have to do some work. Similar cases here with the if then if else statement. That means if condition is true, even then it will execute some statements, or if it is false, even then it will execute some statements. That means in both the condition, either true or false, it will execute some part of the statements. In this case condition is tested, but in this case if and is false, even then the statement will be executed. That means it work even if condition is false, both cases working of statements will be there. So when an if else statement is encountered, condition is tested. In this case also, first it will test the criteria, it will test the condition that you are given in your program, that is if age greater than 18 or else something like that you have given. First it will evaluate your Boolean expression, and if that expression is true, it will execute the statements that are followed by if. That means if condition is true, the statements following if are executed. And in the case if the condition is false, that means if the result of your Boolean expression is false, what will it do? It will evaluate the statements after the else, okay, followed by the else. So syntax of the statement is that if, then you will write test expression, then body of if, and then else and body of else. That means if your expression is true, body of if will be executed, and if the result of the expression is false, body of else will be executed. That means in both the condition, either true or false, it will execute few part of your statements. So let's get a better idea with the help of this flowchart. That is text expression, then true. If it is true, then the body of if will be executed, and if it is false, body of the false will be executed. Now I have explained it with the help of a program. So in this case, what we are doing, we are checking a number, that is if a number is greater than 0, how you can calculate number positive or negative? You check it, if number is greater than 0, that means that number is positive, and if number is less than 0, that means that number is negative. So how we'll implement in this the program is like, we'll first input a number and then we'll check if number greater than or equals to 0, what should it print? It will print positive or 0. Else what it will do? It will print negative number. So let's do this part in the Python ideally. Again, I have stored your program. So this is your else part program. So in this case, what I have written, as I have explained in the PPT slide, this is your program. Now we'll run this. See the else part work. Suppose I give the number -3. What it is printing? It is printing negative number. So if condition is false, even then it is working. That means in both the conditions it is working. So the next type is if, elif, else. If is clear to you, else is clear to you. New word here is elif. Elif is nothing, it is a short form for else if. So we can explain this, that it allows us to check for multiple expressions. When we want to check, suppose after else again we want to check something, then what we'll do? We will put another elif statement. So it allows to check for multiple expression. If condition is false, it checks the condition of the next elif block and so on. If the conditions are false, the body of else is evaluated. This is clear to you? That means if the condition for if is false, it checks the condition of the next elif. That means where after else we were typing again a statement. Here we will again put a if statement. That means elif block where it will again check for the condition. If all the conditions are false, the body of else is executed. If all the conditions are false, then that what will be executed? Else will be executed. Syntax is this: if, it will check for the test expression, body of if. Elif, what you are doing? You are again putting an expression, then body of elif, else, body of else. So what it first check this one, it will test for the expression. If it is true, it will print this and come out of the if statement. But if it is false, it will come to the elif part. Again, suppose you have given here an expression, it will check that. If that expression is true, it will print the body of elif part. Else what it will do? It will come and print body of the else part. So with the help of flowchart, let's explain this in a better way. That is test expression of if statement. If it is true, body of the if will be executed. If false, again it will test for an expression. What it will do? Here you will put an expression and again it will evaluate the result. If result is true, body of elif will be executed, and if it is false, body of the else will be executed. So in this case, we have taken a program in which we have inputted a number, and after entering the number, what we are doing? We are checking it. If number is greater than 0, what we are doing? We are printing positive number. Else what we are again checking that maybe number can be equals to 0. If it is equals to 0, then what print what? 0. Else print number is negative. So let's do this also in the Python ideally. Here is your program for elif statement. In this case, we want to check whether the number is positive, negative or 0. So after entering the number, it will test that if number is greater than 0, it will print positive. If 0, it will print 0. If negative, so we'll run all the three conditions. First, we'll put number 5. Number is positive. That means first condition is evaluated, and suppose I enter number 0. What it is printing? It is printing 0. And suppose I give the number in negative, that is -5. This is negative number. So in this case, what it is doing? If condition is true, first body of the if statement is executed. If it is false, it is going to the elif part, and where again it is evaluating. If it is true, first part will be executed, else last part will be executed. So I think this is clear to you with the help of this program. So next part, that is the last part, is your nested if statement. So to understand this statement, let's first take an example of real world situations in real life when we need to take some decision, and then based on that decision we decide what to do next. Suppose what I am saying, want to say, suppose I say if I'll get job and salary greater than 50,000, then I'll continue. Means what I am saying, that if I'll get job and if that is having salary according to my criteria, then I'll continue. That means what? Based on first decision that I will get job. Second is that if I'll get job, its salary should be greater than 50,000. Then I'll say that I'll continue. So is these type of conditions are always there in real life also. In nested statement, if and an if statement target of another if statement, or you can say nest is what? When you put something in between, that is your nest. Or you can say statement within if statement, or you can say like a nest. Nested if statement means an if statement inside another if statement. So situations sometimes arises in programming where we need to take some decision, and based on this decision we will execute the next block of code. So in this case we can also say that sometimes it is for us to take decision, and then based on that decision we have to take further decision. So these type of statements, these type of work can be done with the help of nested if statements. Syntax: if expression statement 1, in this case execute statement 1 when expression is true. Again it will go to the second expression if, then again you have given an expression, it will execute this. So what is this? Inner if block ends here and the outer block ends here. So in this case the flow chart will be like this. You have test expression, body of first if it is false, then nested expression, what it will do? It will body of your nested if it is false, body of nested else, again statement of initial if. So in this program what we have done, we are checking a number to check for positive, negative or 0. In this case we have taken a number, and what we have done, if number, that means what it is checking, number greater than equals to 0, again it is checking number equals to 0, it will print 0, else what it will print, it will print positive, and then it will print negative. Let's do this in Python. So let's run the program. I have typed the same program. Suppose I type 0, it is printing 0. Suppose I type 3, it's printing positive number. And again let's check for the negative number also. So in all the cases it's working. This is your inner if and this is your outer if. Outer if is opened first, but inner loop will be executed first, then this is your outer. So this is clear to you. So today what we have done, we have done all the types of your conditional statement, that is simple if else, if elif, and then the nested if. So all the concepts can be better understood with the help of programming. So do or run as many programs as possible. So that's all we have with the conditional statements today. In the next video we'll come with the third type. That's all. Thank you.